All right. Hello. Third time's a charm. Third time's a charm. This live is going to be the one that I'm doing, even though the quality is not amazing. I don't know why it won't use. I have a webcam that's supposed to be working. That's why I'm like quitting it and restarting it, but it's fine. Today we're going to be talking about, I have my notes here. Why are you settling? Hi, Intellect. Oh, good. You can hear me and see me. Okay. Why are you settling when you know you want more? So, the main reason that I see my clients settling, even whenever they want more, even when they know they want more money, they know they want more out of a relationship, out of dating, is because of their comfort zone, because of what they've seen play out in their life, because of what they've seen play out in other people's lives and examples that they had, family members, friends, maybe their mom, the relationship dynamic that they saw growing up. All of this is because of the comfort zone. But you have to ask yourself, why are you afraid to leave it? What does the comfort zone bring you? How is it benefiting you? Because people don't do things that don't benefit them. People don't continuously stay in unhealthy relationships if it's not benefiting them in some way. Whether that be, and you're obviously a victim if something like a crime is happening to you, if something is happening to you. I feel like I have to give that disclaimer because people always take this out of context. But when do you want to leave a situation, like not even at that level, but if a relationship's just not fulfilling you, or if a job isn't fulfilling you, or if your environment is not fulfilling you and you want more, why is the comfort zone of staying and downplaying yourself and downgrading your energy, why is that worth more to you right now than it is if you were to make a change and get out of your comfort zone? What are you scared of losing? Are you scared of losing other people? Are you scared of losing money by investing in yourself and not thinking that you're going to get the results? Are you scared of losing sympathy from playing the victim for years? What are you scared of? Is it a relation? Are you scared of feeling lonely? Are you scared of losing someone, even though it might not be a person that you want in your life? And maybe it's not even someone who fits your goals in life, who fits what you want out of life, but you want to keep them around and also waste their time because you're too scared of getting outside of the comfort zone. And you, at that point, if you're deciding that, you're deciding to compromise because it's good enough. It's good enough. It's good enough for now until 3, 5, 10 years later, you regret not making the change sooner. But I have a journal prompt. If you're watching now, please feel free to drop your answer in the chat or go ahead and comment for the replay. The first journal prompt is, when do you deserve to have what you want? And I actually put this in the title of my last YouTube video or my last live because that's something that's been weighing heavily on me this entire week. And I feel like it's this message that I need to give to people is, what do you have to do? Like what standards do you have to live up to yourself to finally allow yourself to get what you want? How do you have to show up for yourself? Like, what's holding you back? Do you think that you don't deserve this until you work really hard? Or do you think you don't deserve money until you work really hard and you're like exhausted every day? Or do you feel like you don't deserve a relationship where you're provided for and have the option to work because you feel like you have to slave away at chores or cooking or going way out of your way to go to, what is it called? PTA meetings for your kids all the time to just be able to even deserve that? When do you get to deserve to have what you want? And some expansive beliefs may come up for you here. Some limiting beliefs may come up for you here. But I want you to write down not what you think I want to hear, not what you want to hear. Write down what actually comes to mind. And after you're done writing that down, second part of the prompt is, why can't you allow yourself to have that right now? What is holding you back from having that right now? Oh, things are coming up for me right now too. I'm journaling in my head as I speak. But when do you deserve to have what you want? And why can't you allow yourself to have that now? What blocks are coming up for you? I noticed that whenever I was struggling to attract my first client, it wasn't because no one wanted help. It wasn't because my prices are too high. It isn't because of that. It's because of my own energy and my own self-limiting beliefs that were coming out through the energy I was conveying, through my stories, through my lives, through my content. Just my energy in general was not aligned with allowing myself to receive a client, because things that were coming up for me, and you can relate this to anything. If you have your own business, you can definitely relate it. But if you have, this can go for relationships too, with attracting the type of person that you want into your life. I was blocking it because then if I received a client, I felt stuck. Like I'm stuck helping someone, and what if I don't deliver? Or what if you do attract the type of the type of man that you want to date? Or multiple options, right? What then? Do you self-sabotage? Do you want to get out of that as soon as possible because you feel, oh my gosh, I attracted it, but now I don't want it? Right? It's like this wobbly energy. And people aren't going to want to stay around you if your energy is wishy-washy, just like you wouldn't want to stay around someone who was like, oh, like I kind of want to, to date you, but then I don't want commitment, but then, it's this wishy-washy energy. All right, so maybe you're tired, if you're a woman watching this, of chasing and pursuing men, feeling like you have to impress someone in all relationships, friendships, dating, everything. Are you feeling like you have to impress people? Or even with receiving money, how do you feel like you have to impress? Or how do you feel like you have to make it known that you deserve it before getting it? Does that make sense? Like you're chasing and pursuing and saying, hey, like I'm good enough. Please, please, please choose me. I'm going to prove myself to you. And that's the only way I can get money. That's the only way I can get dates. Maybe you're doing this and you don't even know how to reside in that natural receiving part of your feminine energy. Maybe you have no clue how to reside there. And for business, like we need both masculine and feminine, right? And in dating too, with setting boundaries and have that healthy source of masculine energy. But whenever it comes to feminine energy, that's what we want to lead with whenever we're going on dates, because that's what's going to attract the complementary masculine energy. So if you knew how to attract what you wanted without pursuing it, chasing it, without like tirelessly trying to impress, how would you feel? Go ahead and comment that, or leave it in the comments, or leave it in the chat. And in what ways do you start to self-sabotage whenever you start to get what you want? So this is really important because this is where we can figure out whenever we get to the edges of our container. And I had this insane, mind-blowing moment the other day where I realized I thought I had been understanding container work. I thought I had been understanding just expanding our mindset, expanding our container. I thought I understood that, but I realized that what I learned the other day made it make total sense to me. So I'm going to explain that now because I think a lot of people don't understand, and hopefully this can make it make way more sense. So I don't have this written down. So let me gather my thoughts for a second on how to explain this. The reason that we get wobbly energy, the reason that we start to self-sabotage, yes, the reason that we start to self-sabotage whenever we get outside of our comfort zone, which is outside or close to the edges of our container, where we're like, oh, okay, like I'm comfortable with this, but I don't know about expanding that far, right? The reason we're doing that is because every level that we expand means that we're going to have to work through new self-limiting beliefs. It's not going to be the same ones that hold us back, right? Because the first self-limiting belief that I ever figured out that I had was that I felt like I was not good enough. I felt like nothing was ever going to be good enough. That came out as procrastination, perfectionism, manifesting physical illness, all of that. But now I'm comfortable with that belief, and when it pops, or that limiting belief, so whenever it pops up for me, I'm just like, oh, it's you again. Okay. I can move past it very quickly. But when we get towards the edges of our container, what happens is that there's going to be new self-limiting beliefs. And where do those self-limiting beliefs come from? They come from traumas. Doesn't have to be something huge. Could be something small, just something someone told you one time. But you're going to have to face that again. And your nervous system is literally trying to protect you from feeling that again. So your nervous system is used to you uncovering, oh, I don't feel good enough. That's fine. We can work through that, right? Or that was my first one for me. So whatever your first self-limiting beliefs, like, oh, I don't feel deserving of love, or I don't feel like I deserve to be provided for, I don't feel like I get to make this amount of money. Maybe you're like comfortable with that at this point and you're able to work past that. But whenever we want to expand our container more, our body is going to, and our mind, our nervous system is going to protect us from refilling, from feeling those traumas again that are the new self-limiting beliefs that we have to work through in order to go from like size 1 container to size 2. And then it's not going to be those self-limiting beliefs that take you to size 3. We're going to reach new ones that take us to that point. And that's going to be different traumas. That's going to be different self-limiting beliefs. That's why whenever we get close to expanding our mindset, expanding our beliefs, we self-sabotage, because self-sabotage is the protection that our nervous system and our mind and our body, whether that be physical illness, anxiety, whether that be talking yourself out of things, whether that be taking on other people's opinions as a self-fulfilling prophecy in order to tell yourself, no, I don't want to do this because it's uncomfortable. That is exactly why it's hard for us to get there, and we have to be ready for that. And I get asked a lot, like, how can I even be ready for that, right? Meditation, journaling, going back to the basics, the simple things. It doesn't have to be some new technique that you have to do. You don't have to be doing shadow work every day. Just get the shit out of your head and understand that it's not true. Understand that it's not true. You get to make your own rules. You get to create your own reality. It's literally, your self-limiting beliefs are not true. So that was my big epiphany in the past few days. And I thought that was very, very mind-blowing for me. To almost, instead of getting mad at the self-sabotages, respect them and respect that that's my body, that's my nervous system that is trying to protect me. That's all that it's trying to do. And whenever other people react to you negatively or reject you or put their insecurities on you, that's also, like, not that that should be excused, but that's also their nervous system protecting them. That's a form of them self-sabotaging from being able to up-level that mindset. That was kind of out there, so I hope that y'all were catching on. And I mean, it wasn't out there, it was just such an insane transformative belief that I had this week that I'm trying to figure out a way to put this into a course and dive so deep into it that other people can understand it to the extent that I have, because that took me a few years to come to the conclusion of. Crazy. All right, so the last journal prompt was, in what ways do you tend to self-sabotage when you start to get what you want? In what ways do your nervous system start to protect you? So is that you start getting physically ill? Is that you start procrastinating? Do you start to become a perfectionist and say, I can't launch my business unless everything is perfect? That's how I used to be, for sure. Or is it, if somebody showed up that fits my entire love list and I want to be with and wants to be with me, am I able to handle that without self-sabotaging it in this moment? All right, so this goes for clients, this goes for money, this goes for relationships, opportunity, everything. I just love how all of this is so applicable to every aspect that I just discussed. So maybe you don't even know yet how to put yourself in that receiving energy, to even be able to let this in. If it were to appear for you today, if it easily manifested into your life today, would you even know what to do to receive it? It could be standing right in front of you, and if you don't know how to receive it, you're going to find ways to block it. Your subconscious is going to come out and it's going to find ways to block it. If y'all didn't know this, we actually operate only with like 5% of our conscious brain. Everything else is subconscious beliefs, subconscious programming. So if you're finding that you're like doing all the strategies, all the inner work, everything, well, actually, if you're doing the inner work, that's when things are going to improve. But if you realize that you're doing all the logical things that should create success in this certain area of your life, you probably need to dive into that inner work, that shadow work, journaling, working through your own traumas, your own limiting beliefs in order to ascend to that next level. You can do that alone. You can get a coach for this. If you want to make a much quicker transformation, like this is key. This is key to all of that. So I want to give an example. Why would a masculine energy provider man want to pursue someone who is pushing back with their energy, completely self-sabotaging by putting their guard up, unable to receive? They're pushing them away, acting as though they don't need their help, but then complaining that they can't find a high-value man, or complaining that there's no good men out there, or complaining that they can't get someone to do this, right? Because when we are, instead of receiving, there might be someone who wants to do all that for you and you friend zone them, or you push them away, or you're like, something doesn't feel right. But maybe that wasn't your instinct, because there's a difference. There's intuition and instinct, and then there is self-sabotage. And if you don't know the difference between them, you might be leading with self-sabotage, which is keeping you in the comfort zone, versus intuition, because intuition is always going to give you a feeling of wanting to evolve. The purpose of intuition is being able to up-level yourself. Intuition doesn't take you towards situations that bring you down. That gut instinct is not going to bring you to a place that is going to downgrade your life. Intuition is for up-leveling. Self-sabotage is keeping you in the same place and downgrading. So I have another journal prompt. This is the last one, unless I just come up with one in my head. But what trauma, inner wounds, or healing, ooh, this is a good one. This might be triggering. Which one of those are you, or what comes up for you that you are addicted to being part of your identity? What are you so closely grasping onto that has now become a part of you? Like, what struggle is now part of your identity? Maybe it's, I work so much that I don't have time to date, so I can never find a provider man. It's all about priorities, right? So when we're stuck in this, I call it our story. When we're stuck in our story and we are making excuses, self-sabotaging, that's a place of nervous system keeping you in the same space. If you want to achieve a certain result, or if you want to manifest something into your life, you have to set up room to be able to achieve that. So whether that means going part-time, finding a job where you do have the hours, realizing that maybe at your current job, you actually do have the hours to come home and go on dates with people to meet someone, or anything can come up for you there. There's ways, like you're not stuck, right? There's phases of things that you go through, but you also ultimately decide, do I get to stay here with this schedule, with these excuses? What is this bringing me? What kind of sympathy, what kind of validation is this bringing me? Or do I make myself a little uncomfortable? Which you're probably going to be uncomfortable either way, right? You're uncomfortable whenever you're complaining that you're not getting what you want, but not uncomfortable enough to make a change. And then you're also uncomfortable making a leap to actually get the result you desire. I think I'd rather be uncomfortable in the pursuit, not the pursuit for me, because we're in our feminine energy over here, but just for words, I'd rather be uncomfortable in the pursuit of something I desire rather than being uncomfortable not getting what I want. Yes, the story we tell ourselves is a major limiting or empowering tool. I like that. Usually I always think of my story as something that is negative or limiting, but that's a limiting belief in itself. You're so right. It can definitely be an empowering tool. So shifting our beliefs, or even shifting our story from this is what's limiting me, and also focus. Whenever we're only focusing on this is what's limiting me. Of course, I believe we need to work through that, but the sooner and quicker we can transmute that and switch over to how can I empower myself? These are the things that are empowering me. These are my assets that I can act on and use to get results I want in these areas. These are my strengths. That is what we want to move away from, the story that limits us, into the story that empowers us. All right, I'm going to open this up for questions now. I feel like I had a few more things to say that were written down, but I might have said it in the last live. Regardless, I'll just repeat myself and I'll wait for some questions in the chat. But yeah, just going back to that first journal prompt is, when do you get to have what you want? After we've gone through realizing that self-sabotaging is just us protecting ourselves, and we can understand now that that's not the reality, we're able to get what we want whenever we regulate those thoughts and allow ourselves to hold space for them. Because a lot of the time, we're so focused on, and our energy and attention is so consumed by our story, by our victim story, by our triggers, by being addicted to being in the healing phase, which I think that's amazing. But I think we all almost need to move sometimes from, oh, I can't do this because I'm healing. I can't do this yet because I'm healing. But what if we said, oh, I can't speak this language yet because I'm learning and I can't speak it until I'm completely fluent. Then you're never going to practice. You're never going to get the experience. Implementation is the fastest way to grow. It is the fastest way to quantum leap through your triggers, quantum leap through that trauma, not ignoring it, working on it along the way, and having those lessons like multiply on top of each other way faster. Instead of spending 10 years stuck in a healing phase where things are coming to you slowly, if you really want to make a change and you're like, I want to do this faster rather than slower, who says it has to be slow? So if you want it to be fast, implementation, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations will make so many more limiting beliefs come up for you that you're able to work through faster than you would have if you didn't put yourself in that situation. We can never know. Like, honestly, if we sat here with our logical brain, we're not going to be like, oh, yeah, I procrastinated on this because I felt like this, and here's how I'm going to heal it, and these are the steps. This is how long it's going to take me. No, that doesn't work here. This is about allowing ourselves to be comfortable with feeling, be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and moving from a place of limiting beliefs to a place of expansive beliefs. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. And if y'all are watching this on YouTube in the replay, make sure to leave a comment if you have any questions or responses to any of those journal prompts. And I hope y'all have an awesome day, and I'll see y'all in the next live.